I'm going to be studying until 9:30, so... No, I'm not sure. Why are upgrades considered complex? I mean, all upgrades require manual intervention, I feel. I don't think they're less secure, so I don't think it's 3. I feel like they would be... I feel like they aren't particularly time-consuming. I mean, I don't know. Infrastructure is code. The problem is that I'm like brainwormed with NixOS, and so I don't know what exactly they mean. Infrastructure as code, like Kubernetes and such. I'm gonna go for unforeseen impacts because it's the longest and it's the one that makes the most sense to me, but it could be wrong. Okay. Two is that really? I was thinking like used to be very common for multi-mode networks and commercial and military installations. And I was thinking, okay, which one seems like the most esoteric? And it's this one, because I almost never, I very rarely see this connector type referred to in the context of fiber optics. But I guess it's ST. I'm gonna ask Gemini about this. What was it, MTRJ? Yeah. Dude, shout out Bell Labs. Oh, wow, I see. Oh, and MTRJ is the one that, isn't it the one that has the same footprint as, ST or something? Not ST. SC? I forgot exactly. Is tasked with improving the network's performance. After some initial analysis, the administrator decides to implement a solution that involves monitoring network traffic flows to identify bottlenecks. That collects only only traffic flow data and reports it to a structured database. I mean, NetFlow is the only one that does what he's describing. Or she, or they, not to assume, right? What is the basic interface speed on an aggregation switch? I mean, I feel like it would be weird because 2.5 gigabits is like just so popular now. But 10 seems a little too high. I'm gonna go for 10. But it could be like 40. I guess I forget exactly what the function of an aggregation switch is. Okay, cool. QSFP plus. Yeah. An IT specialist is troubleshooting a network issue and needs to verify the routing table to ensure that the routes are correctly configured. Which netstat command should the IT specialist use to display the routing table? Is it netstat R? Okay. And straight type. I kind of dislike, this is why I like so quickly go to the like main page as soon as a question is answered, is because I kind of dislike answering like the second time around like mistake questions when like the answer is right next to it. It just seems a little bad. Which of the following statements is true regarding the use of plenum-rated cables in place of riser-rated cables? It's fine. It does the same thing. Yeah, plenum-rated cables can be used in place of riser-rated cables, but not vice versa. I'm pretty sure 2 is correct. Yeah. Because plenum-rated cables are more fire retardant than riser-rated cables. And so it's like, of course you wouldn't want to use riser-rated cables in a plenum because like they're not as fire retardant as they should be. But using plenum-rated cables in a riser is fine because it's like, oh no, it's more fire retardant. Like that's not an issue, you know. Prefix for globally unique unicast IPv6 addresses, is it 48? Yeah. How are the rules in a firewall's ACL processed? So you add a rule, and then I think the new rule's added on top, and then it's like another rule. So like, if I was designing a firewall, how would I process that? I guess from bottom to top. I could be wrong. Okay, it's from top to bottom. Small. Use VoIP. Considering the need for both reliable cloud service connectivity and high-quality voice calls, which of the following should the IT manager prioritize when configuring the network? Probably diffserv. I mean, that's the only one that like would have a solution to the problem. Which of the following attacks aim to recover the encryption key? Well, phishing is like a fake email, and SQL injection is like when there's a form on a website and you, in that form you write like SQL commands, you know, because it's not properly protected. And cross-site scripting is, you know, when you try to open a normal link and then you block origin, it's like, oh, watch out, there's an XSS attack. And it's like, what are you talking about? Cross-site scripting. Yeah, I think it's like for like malicious code on one website to like get information from another website, but I think there's a lot of false positives in regard to cross-site. So replay is like the only one, but they don't even really know what a replay attack is. Which of the following statements best describes the key principle of discretionary access control? I don't know. Discretionary access control. I think discretionary access control is in opposition to centralized access control. I don't think it's called that, but it's like So this is the opposite of centralized access control. I could be wrong. Discretionary access. Okay, I could be way off. A key principle? I don't know. I'm actually not sure. I just forget exactly what discretionary access control is. I'm going to go for this one. I could be wrong. Okay, every resource has an owner. That makes sense. But wouldn't that be the case for, like... I could be wrong. I think this is the case. Okay. Mandatory access control. Yes. I just forget which was which. Oh God. Best topology. From top to bottom, and then every resource has an owner because it's at each user's discretion. Hence, discretionary access control. Not, what is DAX? A digital audio converter? Can you tell I'm not on PEDs? Okay, yeah. Oh, digital analog converter. A network admin notices that several clients on the network are unable to access the internet or any local network resources. Upon investigation, it is found that these clients have IP addresses in the, that's a PIPA. That's an PIPA address. So I don't think it's 4. I don't think it's 1. So it's either 2 or 3. But I feel like if the DHCP server was... Oh, wait. They're unable to access the internet or any local network resource. Okay. I feel like if it was a PIPA, these computers would be able to access themselves. So it actually might not be a PIPA. Well, it might be a PIPA, but what I mean is like... This actually doesn't rule that one out, you know, because... If the network cable is unplugged from clients, I think a PIPA can still happen, right? Like a computer can still give itself an PIPA address. But if all of these computers gave themselves a PIPA addresses, but they're all connected via network cables, they would still be able to communicate, which isn't the case here. So that would sort of imply that the network cable's unplugged. But if they were able to communicate with each other, but not the internet, it would sort of imply an issue with the DHCP server. What is most likely the cause? Yes, several clients on the network, not all clients. I'm gonna go for, I could be wrong. Really? What? That's crazy. guy who has to explain himself to a large language model to prove that he's not as correct as he thinks he is. And so, because the question said these computers weren't able to communicate with anything at all, it made me think that must be a hardware issue. Oh, wait, okay. I was gonna say, like, oh, it said several clients on the network, not all clients. If the DHCP server was offline, I feel like it would be all clients. But that's actually not true, because the DHCP only provisions, network information. And if, the lease hasn't expired for the IP information on a computer, if the lease hasn't expired for the addressing information on a computer, it wouldn't, like, stop working. Unless the lease has expired, it wouldn't stop working, the addressing information. So actually, I'm going to delete that part. Really? Okay. I guess that also makes sense. That makes sense. Between screen cabling and fully shielded cabling. I guess I don't really know what a braided outer screen is. I feel like these are probably true. Screened cabling has one thin outer foil shield around all pairs. Like, isn't a thin outer foil shield around all pairs the same as a braided outer screen? I guess the key word here is braided. I'm going to go for 4 because this seems more likely. Okay. Is requiring multiple character? No, but it is optional. Because it's only length. It's only... What? I know they said that having character complexity doesn't really matter. Like, what matters in a password is length, right? Like, you can have an 8-character password with a bunch of crazy characters in it, but the fact that it's 8 characters sort of infects the rest of the password. Like, it's not very secure because it's 8 characters. But if you have like a 32-character password that doesn't have any special characters, that's still infinitely more secure than the 8-character password with really complex characters, because the length just makes it super unsusceptible to brute force attacks. And if there aren't any words in the password or anything, it's like if it's just a random string of characters, like it's not susceptible to dictionary attacks either. And so the fact that they say this question says it's deprecated is a little strange, because it's like, what? Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, it's not as though you know, NIST says, no, don't have special characters in your password. Like, don't have multiple character classes. Like, that's not what they say. They say that's not what makes a password more secure. Sure, okay. I guess they're sort of deprecating the requirement for organizations to have it. Okay, sure. That's crazy. I guess it's deprecated. Because it's the advice to companies is deprecated. That's bonkers. Why might you ping the router nodes that are neighbors of the system with the issue? In a contention-based MAC system, such as that used by Ethernet, what are the consequences of adding more nodes? Really quick, I'm going to download Proxmox. Cool. In a contention-based MAC system, such as that used by Ethernet, what are the consequences of adding more nodes to the network? Collisions become more frequent. So it's 1, 2, or 3. It's definitely not 4. It's definitely not 3. To confirm, it's over. feel like it's either 2 or 3. What? Okay. That's just so crazy. It's crazy that, really? This has tripped me up twice now. It's crazy to me that if there's not something plugged into a NIC, that it seems like the NIC is, like, off. Okay. I guess I just need to keep that in mind. That's such a surprising development. Plenum rated cable. Friends, I know I've only been streaming for half an hour, and I was planning on streaming for a full hour, but this coffee, I really gotta use the restroom, and also by the time I'm done using the restroom, it's only gonna be like 15 minutes left to study, so, and I kinda wanna do this Proxmox thing, so I might stop streaming now.